I am pretty sure that by now, every fan of Spider-Man has watched the trailer for Brand New Day. Great trailer, by the way. But who else excitedly jumped out of their seat when they saw Peter shoot out like a billion webs from every hole in his body? In all my years as a Spider-Man fan, none of the other movies have gotten me as excited as this one. But imagine my surprise when I came online and I saw people complaining that they didn't like the organic webs and preferred the mechanical web shooters. Like, what are you even talking about? How can you prefer that? I have never understood why a spider will need a mechanical web shooter. How is he a freaking spider if he can't shoot out the webs without help? It makes absolutely no sense to me. I like that as Peter is getting used to his powers, he's becoming more and more of a spider. I mean, he is part spider and part man. As he keeps evolving, it makes sense that he starts showing more spider-like qualities, like his eyeballs turning black. But I fear his eyes turning black might not be as good a perk as organic web shooters. Most spiders have poor vision. They don't even see better than humans and rely on touch or vibrations to navigate around their environment. The only exceptions are active hunters like jumping spiders. They have very sharp eyesight and can even perceive ultraviolet and sometimes red light. What Peter gained after he got bitten was that he didn't need to wear glasses. Instead of what I assume might have been 520 vision, the mutation healed his eyesight, so he has the standard 20/20 vision that regular humans have. What gives Peter an edge in combat is his spidey sense and superhuman reflexes. When Stan Lee and Steve Ditko were creating the character, I wonder why they didn't make his webs a part of his powers. Instead, Spider-Man makes web fluid and launches it from mechanical web shooters on his wrist. I like that Sam Raimi's Spider-Man had organic web shooters in the first big-budget depiction of the character. You see that I said the first big-budget depiction. There were other live-action Spider-Man films. The first live-action movie was aired on CBS in the 1977 film Spider-Man. There was also the Amazing Spider-Man TV series released in the 1970s. Toei Company then produced a live-action Spider-Man television show in Japan. The Japanese show had a heavily modified storyline and a giant robot named Leopardon. Spider-Man used this robot to defeat his enemies, anything not to use his webs, I guess. Leopardon is 45 meters tall, weighs over 25,000 tons, and has a giant sword and a massive shield. Spider-Man summons the robot using a bracelet on his wrist, and Leopardon surfaces by cracking through the ground. I am just imagining Marvel's Spider-Man using this kind of robot in their movies. That would be hilarious. There was also a 1973 Turkish film that had an unauthorized appearance of Spider-Man. Spider-Man was a villain in this one. None of these Spider-Men had organic webbing, which was quite disappointing. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Spider-Man uses organic webbing in Spider-Noir. I am not the biggest fan of how his webs are shown in the series though. It is more of a string than a web. He just uses it to swing or he shoots it like a bullet, but I get it. Ben Reilly got his powers after he was bitten by a mutated human spider hybrid. The venom mutated his DNA and gave him spider abilities. He wasn't bitten by a radioactive spider like Peter Parker. Peter Parker's Spider-Man is much stronger in my opinion, but I will also take organic webbing wherever I can get it, stringy or not. So in live action, our count is 3 for organic webbing: Tobey Maguire, Nicolas Cage, and Tom Holland's Spider-Man. The comics have more depiction of Spider-Man using organic webbing than in the live action. Miguel O'Hara, the Spider-Man from the future, is the first Spider-Man to have organic webbing in the comics. Peter Parker, the Spectacular Harm, also has organic webbing. I can even add Zombie Peter Parker. He closely resembles regular Peter Parker except that he's from a universe where both the heroes and villains are flesh-eating zombies. In '04, a spectacular Spider-Man arc gave Peter organic webs as a side effect after he fought the Queen. They did this so that the comic would match Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man after it did really well in the box office. It was later retconned after like 3 years. I can also count Kaine, aka the Scarlet Spider. He was a flawed clone created by Jackal, but he produced organic webs and crazy looking spikes. The other Spider-Man in the comics I could find that had organic webs is Peter Parker in the black symbiote suit. He produced webs without the mechanical shooters, so that's about 5 or 6 comic book Spider-Men that use organic webs. From the trailer, it seems like Peter's body will undergo serious mutation that will make him stronger and more spidery. The prediction is that he will most likely transform into the Monstrous Man Spider. Monstrous Man Spider appeared in the 90s animated series and several times in the comics. And I also think this is the angle Marvel will take. For the people who don't like organic webs, his name is not Insect Man, it's Spider-Man. Spraying webs is part of the whole deal. The story would have flowed well narratively if the character had organic webs from the beginning. I feel the only reason Stan Lee had Peter make the web shooter is to show that he is a boy genius. The technical know-how to make this kind of technology is no joke. Where did he even find the resources to buy materials to make the web shooter? Except he made it from junk like Tony did in the cave. That would even make him more of a genius. Another thing that people argue is that Peter's web will not come out of his wrist, but is bought like a real spider. That's funny, but it doesn't make any sense. Humans and spiders have different physiology, so you don't expect everything to merge one to one. I don't think this argument would even work for the new Spider-Man movie because it seems like he shoots his web from everywhere. If we even start using this logic for fantasy, we might as well scrap the powers of every superhero. Cyclops shouldn't be able to blast concussive force beams from his eyeballs without them melting in his skull. Iceman turning his whole body into solid ice shouldn't leave him with a working brain, let alone a face that can talk. At some point, we all have to accept that these guys don't have normal human physiology and stop nitpicking at everything. Organic webs also make sense if you're a superhero trying to hide your identity. I think it's far easier to hide the scars from where the webs will come out in his wrist than it is to hide the mechanical web shooters. It is also easier to destroy the mechanical shooters. A strong superhero can break the machine. Electricity as well as EMPs can destroy the circuit boards. He also runs out of web fluid that he uses with the machine. But to stop the organic webs, I think you will have to break his hands. I also doubt he will run out of web fluid except when he has been fighting for hours on end. It's very rare for a healthy, well-fed spider to run out in the wild. Peter is a healthy, well-fed young man. He wouldn't be running out of web fluid anytime soon. I read someone argue that the webs might be harder to detach since they are inside his body. That might be the only fair argument I have seen online. Miguel O'Hara wouldn't have that problem though. He would just use his claws to cut it off. Maybe Peter should just carry a little pocket knife he hides in his suit. If he can have a whole camera in his face mask, a little knife is not a big deal. Another one I saw is people saying organic webs makes him look more freaky and monstrous. For one, I like freaks, so sign me up. Also, are we now calling spiders monsters? He is just becoming his true self. If anything, he should completely evolve into having 8 legs. I was also scrolling through an old Comic Vine forum and someone else said that the web shooters put realistic constraints on his webbing. That with organic webs, he would just keep going and going, and that where does all the mass come from? My question is, have you seen the size of the webs that some spiders create? Female Darwin's bark spiders can spray massive lines of silk up to 25 meters across bodies of water. That's like a standard Olympic-sized swimming pool lane or a single row of 5 mid-sized sedans packed bumper to bumper. But back to the restraints argument. The organic webs have restraints too. In Spider-Man 2, Psychological stress, self-doubt, and emotional turmoil prevented Peter from temporarily creating the fluid. So it's not like he's ready to spray at any time. Spray sounded so weird. I also like James Cameron's idea for how the webs would have worked. In the early 90s, James Cameron wrote a script for an R-rated version of the Spider-Man movie. It was supposed to be a gritty, coming-of-age story acting as a metaphor for puberty, but legal and financial issues killed the movie. In Cameron's script, the web was organic and he could shoot it from his wrist, but Peter could not control it, so he still needed the web shooters to help him focus his webs. This makes a lot of sense. Everybody wins. Peter gets to show that he's a genius, and he also has organic webs like he should have had from the beginning. I can't wait to see the new Spider-Man movie. I wonder how Tom Holland's Spider-Man will use his webs compared to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Let me make a prediction. In fact, 2 predictions. My first prediction is that this movie will make at least $1 billion at the box office. My second prediction is that Tom Holland will feature in at least 2 movies that will cross $1 billion in the box office this summer. That's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, like, comment and subscribe. Also check out some of my older videos. See you in the next one. Bye.